Wales up against Georgia. It's the only Monday game, so for those of us watching all the games, there's a slight easing their way, I guess, into Monday, where it's just that one game. It's Wales against Georgia. Wales are pretty big favourites for this one. The teams don't have much in the way of rugby history. They've met once in 2017, and it was a pretty close game, actually, 13 points to 6. I can't remember if I saw that game or if I just saw the highlights or read news about it, but just that the Georgian scrum was apparently very, very good, which is kind of no surprise because that's what the Georgians are pretty renowned for in terms of their rugby. So that's one thing Warren Gatland addressed in his press conference, talking about how Wales will have to be competent with their scrum. I would suggest they'll probably need to be more than competent against the Georgians, because that's one area where they will look to get an advantage, and especially if the weather means that the ball's a wee bit slippery and there are going to be a lot of knock-ons, as we've seen in some of the other games. Then as the number of scrums goes up, the more advantage the Georgians may be able to get there, because we have seen the Welsh scrum under a little bit of pressure recently, so they will definitely have to step up. But again, Gatland said that he's happy with the way the guys have been preparing, and I guess feels they have made that step forward. So I'll put the teams in the description. To be perfectly honest, the Georgian squad I'm very unfamiliar with compared to like the Welsh squad. There's a few names I know, a few names that probably all of us know, and then a whole bunch of guys who seem vaguely familiar, but I'd be lying if I said I could recognize these guys by name or by face. So we'll go through the squad. You guys, if you do have any insights about those Georgian guys, please do let me know as well. But we'll start with Wales. They've got Dan Biggar and Gareth Davies in the halves, which is kind of no surprise. Those guys will likely be the ones taking Wales forward throughout this World Cup campaign. Parks and Jonathan Davis in the midfield again. Probably that kind of pick, which you could see coming a mile away. George North and Josh Adams are on the wings, and Liam Williams is at fullback. So it's a pretty impressive looking backline. They'll be looking to find some space, because I guess if there's one area where they might be able to really get some dominance over Georgia, it's perhaps in the backs. Forwards, though, Wyn Jones, Ken Owens, and Thomas Francis are in the front row. So those are the guys who are going to be under all that pressure from the Georgians. Jake Ball and Alun Wyn Jones are in the second row. Now, the second row is a wee bit of an issue for Wales at the moment, because, you got Alun Wyn Jones there, so he's probably worth two players anyway. But Adam Baird had to have his appendix out, I think, back before he travelled to Japan. And he's not going to be fit for this game or the Australia game. So that's already one lockdown, and Corey Hill's still not right either. So they're kind of lacking in genuine second rowers at the moment. Shingler is kind of the backup lock there for Wales. So that will be an interesting one. Fingers crossed those guys stay fit, the guys that are actually playing. Aaron Wainwright, Justin Tipuric, and Josh Navidi round out the back row. Gatland had all kinds of warm fuzzies to put for Aaron Wainwright. Fair enough. The guy's been in good form as well. And I like Navidi and Tipuric. So impressive team. Moriarty, Thomas Williams, Reece Patchell, Lee Halfpenny. It's good to see Reece Patchell. Concussion thing seems to be past him. Hopefully he doesn't take any big hits in this game and stays fit, because that's another area with Anscombe not being able to make the tournament. That's another area where you would look at and think, we don't need any more injuries there if you're a Welsh fan. For Georgia, again, not that familiar with all these guys. Everyone knows Gorgodze, who's come back to play for Georgia in this World Cup. He is at 7. The captain, Giorgadze, he is out with injury, which is kind of disappointing, so they'll be missing his presence in the midfield. I know Bregvadze plays for the Sunwolves in Super Rugby. He is the backup hooker in Super Rugby, and he is the backup hooker here. I had a look through the team, and to be fair, pretty much all of these Georgian guys either play or have played their professional rugby in France if they're the forwards. All the forwards play in the top 14 or second division or whatever in France. The backs, not so much. A lot of the backs still play domestically in Georgia. And but I guess we'll have to see how their fly half goes, because he's still pretty young. Abzhandadze. I guess Milton Haig has kind of been talking about how he wanted to develop that expensive aspect of the Georgian game, and he's convinced that he's kind of done that. I mean, I think there's a quote from him saying that in 2015 I said if we didn't come to 2019 with a bit more X factor, I would shoot myself. And thankfully, I don't have to do that. We've got a bit more young blood who can actually use the ball a bit better and step a bit better. That's why they're in the team. So hopefully we see a bit more of that from the Georgians, not just the forward play, but none of us would blame the Georgians for trucking it up with those big forwards as well. So, yeah, pity the captain's out. But for this one, the algorithm for Rugby Forecast has got Wales by 25 points, which is pretty comfortable. The bookies have got Wales by 28 points, so even more. How their attack goes without their attack coach will be interesting. Rob Howley got sent home. A lot of Welsh fans seem to be rejoicing at the fact that he's gone. It's a bit disruptive in terms of the timing, but it's an interesting one with that prediction, like 25 points by the algorithm and 28 by the bookies. When was the last time Wales won by 28 points? I mean, I know they haven't played Georgia, but a lot of their results have been close-ish, or at least composed without being kind of a blowout. And this scoreline looks to be a blowout, but I guess it is Georgia, so maybe that's a gap in the teams. I guess we'll see. Hopefully the Georgians put in a good shift, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. You guys let me know your thoughts on the teams. It'll be a big congratulations to Alun Jones because he'll be getting an record equaling 129th test, so that's amazing stuff for him. There was a bit of banter in the pre-match press conference before the team had been announced that if he's selected, yeah, well, he's been selected because he's Alun Jones. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the teams and how you think this one's going to go. I will talk to you guys soon. See you later.